Vance, shame on you! JD Vance, shame on you! JD Vance, shame on you!
To say I'm an American, I apologize for it when I'm older now.
This man is starving millions and millions of children.
There is nothing legitimate about the US government at the moment. You almost describe it as a sort of terrorist organisation.
And what's made America great is our immigrants and our social mobility. If he really wants the country to be a superpower, it needs to be on the people, and that we need to support people, not just billionaires.
Why do you think JD Vance chose to come to the Cotswolds?
I don't think he should set foot in this country. He's been incredibly rude about this country.
The fact that JD Vance is here on a family holiday, that's bad enough because it's majorly disruptive to the area. I think it's fairly obvious that it's not just a family holiday. If you or I were on a family holiday, we wouldn't go and meet the Foreign Secretary for tea and cake. There's deals being done, there's conversations being had that are off the radar that are not being minuted. That's the way that administration operates. It's dodgy, it's behind closed doors, and it's a different style of politics, and it's quite worrying.
He is an active facilitator of the genocide which is taking place in Gaza. This US administration is giving full support to the Israeli government in this genocide. So I detest them, I detest his politics, and I don't want him here in our community. He is not welcome.
There is nothing legitimate about the US government at the moment. You almost describe it as a sort of terrorist organisation. The harm they are doing around the world, the cutting of US aid, has probably already caused more than 1 million deaths worldwide.
Is this your first ever protest?
Yes, it is. I'm a US citizen. It would be hard for me to protest in America. I am what they call a birthright citizen, so I got my citizenship through my parents, so I would not be safe there. I've got family in the US, and we're not hearing in the media the local colour of what's happening. People are being snatched off the street. People who've lived in the country for 20, 30 years are being grabbed and deported. Pregnant women are being treated badly. His idea of what a prison is and no due process is pretty horrendous. People feel unable to do anything.
I've been in the UK for 30 years. I'm originally from Chicago. I feel so strongly against the authoritarian regime. What's happening to my country, I'm sickened by it. Everyone I know in the States is against this regime.
David Lambie, the Foreign Secretary, was meeting with JD Vance yesterday. We saw those pictures of them fishing together. What do you hope that he was saying to JD Vance?
In an ideal world, I would hope that he would be pressing the case for Ukraine and also for civil liberties elsewhere. But if I'm brutally honest, I don't think he will make any headway with JD Vance. Brexit has left us in a very financially vulnerable state. The politicians, I think they believe they have to suck up to Trump because they're terrified that otherwise he's going to stick enormous tariffs on them and that he'll probably go all out in his support for reform, for example. Effectively, I feel like Trump is extorting us and other countries that, politicians have to bow down to him, otherwise he'll punish them.
My message to David Lambie would be understand what this country voted for. It didn't vote for you cozying up to Vance, the type of regime that Trump has in the US. Those are not David Lambie's values. We know that from what he's previously said about Trump. He should listen to the people who voted for him.
I think it's incredible that Trump and Putin are having a conversation about a peace deal and Zelensky isn't being involved. Can you imagine, like in the Second World War, who was in charge? Eisenhower and Hitler having a conversation over where they draw the boundaries, between Germany and France. Like, what in God's name is that all about?
There's a lot of questions to be asked of the current British government as well in terms of their involvement. We've seen a shift in position, certainly over the recognition of the Palestinian state, which is welcome, but it's far too late.
I think that Winston Churchill would be turning in his grave because he was always unapologetically anti-fascist, and this is just Neville Chamberlain-style appeasement, and it's extremely disappointing.
You have to maintain relationships with your allies, but I don't know that they can really consider them allies.
Tell me about your sign.
This sign is trying to get JD Vance to understand that he's not welcome here by poking fun at him because he's thin-skinned. The best way to get a message across to him is with humour. I've known about JD Vance for a couple of years. I don't like him. I guess he doesn't represent the values of this country, and we want him to know that.
This man is starving millions and millions of children around the world by stopping US aid and by doing, really horrendous things in America. His favourite meme, which is illegal now, if you go to the States with this on your phone, you'll get arrested and deported. Taxpayers in this country will be paying over £10 million just for the security while he's here. This is not right. We don't want this. This is not a vacation. He's made it a point to come here because he's preparing the ground for Trump in September.
I am really horrified because J.D. Vance and Usha, they know better. I first heard about J.D. Vance when I saw the movie Hillbilly Elegy, that he grew up poor, that he had addiction in his family, and now 14 million Americans are going to lose their Medicaid, and he was the deciding vote on the Big Beautiful Bill. And Usha, she's the daughter of immigrants from India, and yet immigrants are getting rounded up on the streets of LA every day, and women are losing rights every day. They know better, so shame on them. They don't deserve to have this comfortable £8,000 a week vacation here in the UK. I think we need to make it uncomfortable for them.
Should the UK still view America as an ally?
Not under this current regime, absolutely not. That particular government is not our ally, and I would say it's actually our enemy because it's the enemy of democracy across Europe.
What would you say to J.D. Vance if you could speak to
Fuck off. Don't come to this country. It wasn't that long ago that he said we were a random country that hadn't fought a war in 30, 40 years. Makes references to this being an Islamic country, which it's not. It's a multiracial country, and he makes horrendous comments about women. I find them repulsive.
My message to J.D. Vance would be to stop being so self-serving and remember where he came from. He's just burnt the ladder behind himself, but there are people that don't want to hand out. They just want to hand up. And what's made America great is our immigrants and our social mobility, and that if he really wants the country to be a superpower, it needs to be on the people, and that we need to support people, not just billionaires.
I don't understand how a Labour government can behave this way. It's pathetic. They see this as a way of ingratiating themselves to Trump and Vance, and the British people deserve more.
When you left the US, did you ever imagine that a president like Donald Trump could happen to America?
No, I cannot believe what has happened so quickly, how quickly we have descended into this hateful country. I'm embarrassed to say I'm an American. I apologize for it when I'm over here now.
In 5 years' time, where do you think America's going to be?
I don't think it's going to be the world leader it is now. I just really pray for the safety of all my friends and family that are still there.
Do you think Donald Trump will still be in charge?
I don't think that Donald Trump is going to be on this side of the earth, but I hope that fascism is gone at that point.